Okay, continue with this slide. Rational persuasion is the only tactic that's considered effective to be used across organizational levels. So, if you are employees at a lower level, or if you are top managements, or if you are the same level as your colleague, if you want to ensure that to ensure that your claims could be fulfilled, you need to use rational persuasions. Inspirational appeals work best as a downward influencing tactic with subordinate. So if you are the managers, you want to influence the subordinates or employees at the lower level. You can use inspirational appeal because it's stated in the textbook. Inspirational appeal work best if you want to influence subordinates using a downward influence. If you want to use pressure, pressure only work if you use downward influence. That's mean if you are if you are coming from the top managements, or your position is higher than the person you want to influence, then you can use pressure. But if you are in the same level as the person that you want to influence, or higher than the person, or if the person that you want to influence is higher than you, pressure wouldn't work. So personal appeals and coalitions are most effective if you want to influence your colleagues or of the same level as you are. So if you want to persuade your friends or influence your friends, so you can use personal appeals and coalitions, because this personal appeal and coalition only work for for influencing people from the same level, or we call it lateral influence. So more effective in influencing people if begin with the softer tactics, then rely on the personal that's rely on the personal power. So basically, the softer tactics normally use personal power, such as personal and inspirational appeals, rational persuasion, and consultations. So if, let's say, for example, after you use softer tactics still not successful, so you can move to harder tactics such as exchange, coalitions, and pressure, uh, which emphasize more on formal power and incur great cost and risk. So if, let's say, after you have used all the softer tactics still not working, then you can use harder tactics, such as these tactics that have been suggested here. So a single soft tactics is more effective than a single hard tactics. So it's the same as previous line. I need to use softer tactics because it's more effective than harder tactics. Or you can use combination of two soft tactics, or you can use soft tactics and rational persuasion. Is more effective than any single tactics alone, or if you want to use single tactics with the combination of hard tactics, so try to use the soft tactic first, or the rational persuasions tactics before you can apply hard tactics. So the effectiveness of the tactics depend on the audience also. The audience will tend to comply with the soft power tactics if they are more reflective. That means if the audience are more reflective, if they are intrinsically motivated, if they have high self-esteem, and if they have greater desire for control. So audience who always reflects about the bads or the goods, or about the weaknesses and the strength, will have more power to be used soft tactics. Or if they are more motivated by intrinsic factors such as recognition, praise instead of money, or instead of materials, and they also have high self-esteem. That means they believe in themselves more, their ability, if they have high self-confidence, or if they have the greater desire to control something. So try to use soft tactics for the audience that consists of these elements. In contrast, people especially like to comply with the hard power tactics. Normally, they are the people that would like to be comply with the hard tactics. You can use action. Normally they are who are more action oriented people, also intrinsically motivated and more focused on getting more focused on getting along with others than with getting their own way. So you can use hard tactics if the to the audience who are more action oriented. They do not like to be tellings or all these things. They like actions. They are more practical, and they also more motivated by extrinsic factors such as money, such as material thing. They are also more focused on getting along. That means they like to be with others. They like to be friends. They like to have a harmony relationship instead of getting their own way. That means fulfilling their own personal needs. So you can use hard tactic on the individuals or on audience that consists of this type of personality or elements. So people in different countries also may have different preference of power tactics, such as those who are coming from individualistic culture or countries. Because they see power in term of getting more personal as a one way to get their legitimate means. So for those who are coming from individualistic countries, they needs to be in order to persuade them or influence them, need to use direct confrontations or rational appeals. For those who are coming from collectivistic countries, because they see power in a different way than if people coming from individualistic countries. So if you want to persuade or influence people from collectivistic countries or culture, try to use coalition tactics, because this one is more effective compared if you use direct confrontations. So applying power tactics, people differ in terms of their political skill. What is political skills? Political skill is the ability to influence others to enhance their own objectives. So in the organizations, many employees use political skill to enhance their own objective or personal goal. So in the organization, this is not something this is something common actually. So the politically skilled people are more effective user of all the influence tactics. That means they know how to use the influence tactics to provide a positive outcome in the workplace. So people who have skill in terms of political skill have higher self-efficacy, job satisfaction, productivity, and career success. So I think based on this, it is important to have political skill, because it's not only could be able to use influence tactic successfully, could also lead to high self-efficacy. That's mean confident in themselves or in their own self, increased job satisfactions, and could lead to high productivity and career success. And they're also less likely to be victims of workplace aggressions, because they know how to be diplomatic. They know how to influence others. So this is actually be able to avoid aggressive behavior in the workplace. So political skills also appears more effective when the stakes are high, especially when the rewards are high in terms of promotions, in terms of pay raise. So political skill may appear more effective compared to direct confrontations, maybe or aggressive behavior of achieving something. So political skill is considered good in getting things that's the person desire. So applying power tactics, culture within organization differ markedly. If you all aware, perhaps in the organizations, the culture of the organizations is different from one company to the another company. Some culture in the organizations prefer organizational culture are characterized by warmth, relaxed, and supportive. Others are more formal and conservative. So people who fit the culture of the organization tend to obtain more influence. So those who know how to fit with the culture of the organizations actually could get more influence, especially in terms of personality. For example, extroverts. Extrovert is those who are friendly, talkative, how to socialize with others. They tend to be more influential in team-oriented organization. So in the team, they know how to carry themselves, how to present themselves. They are talkative, they are friendly. So these kind of traits are actually more likable, easily liked by others compared if they are reserved and introverts. So those who have highly conscientiousness personality also can be influential in the organizations than those who are like to work alone on technical tasks, because highly conscientious people, they are more organized, they are more responsible, they are also very diligent, very hardworking. So this kind of trait actually influential in the organizations in terms of achieving performance compared to the employees who prefer to work alone. So, moving to this slide, does power corrupts? Because we're talking about the importance of power, how important the power to influence others. So the question is, does power corrupts? So power leads people to place can be negatively regarded, because power can lead people to place their own interests more than the interests of others. So those who have power, normally they will put their own interests first before the interests of others. So powerful people also react negatively to others who complain about their competence. So they negatively react to any threats to their competence. That means if, let's say, people do not believe in those who have power in their competence or ability to lead or ability to exercise their power, they just ignore them. They just react negatively toward any comments. They just ignore all the comments, even though the comments mention about their inability to lead, or for example to manage, and so on. So power also leads to overconfidence in decision making. Those who have power tends to be overconfident in making decisions. This confidence can lead to ineffective decision makings. However, power doesn't affect everyone in the same way. There are also some positive effects of power, because we talked previously about the importance of power, how to influence people using some tactics, using different kind of powers. Even though there are good and bad powers, effects of power. So it's up to us. So it is important to be more justice, or to be more fair when you have power. Okay, this actually the slide I want to show about the whether does power corrupts. As you can see, those who are leaders or who have corrupted power, they uh, they focus on their own interests more than other people's interests. They ignore other people comments negatively about their competence. They react negatively, and they also really have that kind of overconfidence in making decision, which could lead to ineffective or problematic decision making. So here is, you can say, power can be corrupted if the leader just focus on your own interest, and if they negatively react to their low competence, those who they just dismiss other opinions regarding their own competence, whether they have competence or not, and they also overconfident in decision making, which could lead to problems in their leadership or in their management. Okay, moving to this slide.